Stevie! Let's go, Stevie! Let's go, Stevie! Let's go, Stevie, Stevie Lou! Let's go, Stevie! Let's go, Stevie! Let's go, Stevie! Let's go, Stevie, Stevie Lou!
Oh, yeah. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You are rocking with the Lou. Put your goddamn L's up. Stevie Lou here with you Sunday morning. Got the weed cock. Got the L's up. I hope you're doing the same. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing all right. I hope you're having a time out there. Say what is up to my lady Doodle. Boy. Oh, man, that was a big intro. Big bong hit. Big weed cock hit there. There'll be more of that along the way, believe you me. Doodle absolutely knows what is up. Eddie from the D, Lunatics Unite. Speaking of which, Bobby Nick, my man, it's been a minute, Bobby. It's been a minute, my man, Bobby. It's so great to see you as always. Bobby Nick of the Lunatic Lounge. A different type of lunatic, but a lunatic squared. Right? I mean, what the fuck? I didn't even ever think of that. Maybe we should do some cross promotion, Bob. Maybe we should talk about it, Bob. You got the thing you're doing. I got what I'm doing here. It's like peanut butter and jelly, baby. So yeah, your pal Stevie Lou here. Sunday, September 21st, year of our Lord 2025. I figured, you know what? It's been a while. You haven't seen this beautiful face in a few. Very, very busy. Insanely busy, as a matter of fact. We'll get into more of that. But you didn't have any of the Tookie yesterday. You had a very subpar MLC on Friday, I must say. I guess we can get into that a little more later. Last night's episode, again, I don't know. Not as I feel like we've had a bunch of really good weeks in a row of MLC, and then sometimes it just doesn't. Things don't fall into place as they sometimes tend to. So I don't know. We're all doing our things out here, throwing up L's. If you are with me, remember, folks, this is what we do. If you're a lunatic, you throw the L up. Take your pointer finger and your thumb, and you create the letter L. Stands for Lou, stands for lunatic. Shows the world that you are wild and crazy and down with the Lou. So we always do this to start the show off. As a matter of fact, if you're out there, I want you to throw the L up, hold it there for a couple of seconds. Don't just put it right up and put it down, okay? That's the thing, too, is that you got to be a proud lunatic if you want to be a lunatic. So you throw it up, you stick it up there, you push it in there. Oh, yeah, you push it in hard. Okay. All right, thank you. And hit the like button, too, while you're at it. We're doing it. This is a show. This will be up on Patreon later. Hit the like button, share, tell your friends about Stevie Lou, because honestly, folks, I don't know how much more of this I will be doing in the near future. What is up, Terrible Troy? That's Nasty Neil's brother, if you didn't know. They are the sons of Scary Sally. and Horrifying Harry. It's just the whole thing that they do there. It's a family tradition, I guess, but we love them nonetheless. Over it here at Stevie Lou Studios, Without Your Head podcast. Check it out, folks. If you like horror, if you like horror, then that's the podcast for you. Those guys are prolific in the world of horror, making their own movies, reviewing horror, current horror, new horror, getting stars of horror films on their show to interview. It's quite incredible. Um, a lot of friends of friends. Like if it was like a Venn diagram of Stevie Lou Lewniversal Studios and the Without Your Head podcast, there is definitely an overlap. We're living right here, right now. You know. Hold on, let me see if I can do this. Okay, and now I'm wound up with my headphones, so I'm gonna have to go. Wow. Holy shit. Where do you get stuff like that? Folks, tell me. Do you see any of these other podcasts doing shit like that on the fly? It's called improv, ladies and gentlemen. It's called Yes and we're doing it. Oh. Sorry, it's Bad Brenda and Putrid Peter. Putrid Peter and Bad Brenda. God damn, it's a tongue twister of a family over there, and I love them. Terrible Troy. I gotta make that larger. Thank you for the kind words, Stevie. Did you see the long walk? I am due for a long walk. Hey, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I got no excuse besides been a little too busy for movies. One of my favorite pastimes. Um, Normally, I try to find time, no matter what, to see a flick, especially one that's getting good word around the campfire on Long Walk. Is there something there? It's a Stephen King story. Stephen King, the most prolific horror author of all time. I think that's a pretty fair argument. It's one of his stories. Truth be told, I'm not like a Stephen King stan. I sure do enjoy a lot of his work, but I'm not like a completist where I know it all through and through. And as a matter of fact, some of it I'm a little uneasy. I don't know. I'm not as keen on or I don't know. Yeah, he could be hit or miss sometimes, but to not recognize some of the great work that he's put out. I mean, you look at Shawshank Redemption alone. That story, I think, leading to one of the greatest rewatchable films of all time. There's something to be said. The It stories are really good. The Shining is something else. But then you got stuff like the Langoliers. Yeah, you got stuff like Dreamcatcher. Speaking of dream catchers, I'm a kitty catcher. Look what I just caught. I just caught a kitty who was trying to sneak by while podcasting was going on. While Daddy was podcasting, this little girl right here tried to sneak by. She thought she was a little ninja, but Daddy got her. Uh-oh, Daddy got her. Whoop-oo. Uh-oh, and she thinks she don't like this, but she loves this. Okay. You want to sit here? Okay. You can go there. Yeah, where was I? Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher, which I've actually, now that I bring that one up, let's dive in a little bit more. Dreamcatcher, a film that I saw in the movie theaters with an ex-girlfriend uh, who was down with it, and I'll never forget how disappointing and head scratching that fucking movie was. What an experience in the theater, just like waiting for the movie to turn. And it does turn, but doesn't turn in the way that I was hoping it would. And a movie that features I guess we'll just call it like it is, a shit monster. One of the few times that you see a monster made of shit on screen, which you'd think that that's like right up my alley, literally right up my alley. But first time around on Dreamcatcher was tough. But I honestly have, I think, come around on that one. I remember watching it not too long ago, like maybe within the last 3-4 years, and fucking really reconsidering my opinion and enjoying the watch. I think it was maybe a little before its time. Sometimes that's the problem with Stephen King, is that he's so fucking prolific and got his fucking thumb up the ass of America. He's just ahead of his time. Mickey, what's up? What's going on, you punks? Hello, my dear. Oh man, speaking of a guy that's prolific, Ray DeVito. What a fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot. I'll tell you what, one thing I can say is I did not bump into Ray DeVito at all this summer while he was living in New York City. And I kind of feel like I fucking dodged a bullet. Truth be told, I have not been hanging out in the comedy world, going to comedy clubs, performing at all. It's for some time, so I'm more or less out of that world completely. But even so, I would, figure out one way or another to bump into Ray, or we'd hang. But we don't. A, we don't talk anymore, and B, I kind of feel like that's a good thing. No offense, Ray, but you are absolutely a burden to be friends with, and you're an idiot. You're an idiot and a malicious idiot on top of that. So I think it's been best for me and hopefully Ray too, for there just to have been a nice little separation. And hey, he's doing his thing. He's, I guess, out of New York and back in Ohio, where I'm sure he's got some opportunity out there. But yeah, I guess he stayed busy while he was in New York. Dick Fitzwell says, yeah, he also got a lot of movies that are bombed. Yeah, I think we touched upon that. Look at that. I just got a notification that Movie Star Fingernails just subscribed. Mario, my man. What's going on? Mario, Movie Star Fingernails, a guy that I got to hang with in AC. Good dude. Oh shit, look at this. Terrible Tony. I can't believe I didn't call that one out right away. Don't have that on VHS. Thought I had Stand By Me on VHS on standby. I got to get that because absolutely Stand By Me fuck. I might put Stand By Me over Shawshank in the list, the Lou list, as we might call it. Another one that if you haven't watched in a while, give Stand By Me a rip. That movie is iconic, a classic. Could be the best kid acted movie of all time. The Goonies is also up there for me. But The Goonies is a kids adventure film where the Stand By Me is a great story, good drama, coming of age, that classic Americana from the 50s, stuff that the boomer generation grew up on. Um, and River Phoenix, I say that's the best child acting performance of all time is River Phoenix in Stand By Me. Um, he has the chops of Marlon Brando, um, James Dean, um, Jack Nicholson. Like he is up there with the greats in that film. He's calling upon some Hollywood legends, I feel, with that performance. I still to this day blown away by that kid's work in that film. And yeah, Shawshank and Stand By Me, I think you could say Terrible Tony for sure are the top two. Um, which one's better in my mind? I've never really given that a thought, but my knee jerk reaction might be Stand By Me. Yeah, the gangbang, it is fucked up. Dick Fitzwell is threatening to bury Doodle in the pet cemetery. Well, then she'll come back and kill your ass. So be careful what you do there. There's some something in them hills. Um, yeah, Doodle for sure. The original made-for-TV It series with Tim Curry as It. I have not seen the Skarsgård It films, and it's one of those things that's just passed by me, and I haven't had the time to pick back up. Look at that, Tuna Town checking in from one cat to another. Yeah, that's Reba. She is really cute. Mr. Bojangles is over there looking at me now. They got breakfast earlier. They're just chilling, hanging with Daddy. Hmm. Okay, look at this. This is an amazing question here from the doctor, the good Dr. Chow, the Mega G. Who is dumber, Buckman or Ray? Um, I would have to really give the dumb award to Ray for sure, but I will say that Shmuel Buckman has been exhibiting some major signs of DeVitoism, early onset DeVito, with Shmuel Buckman occurring right in front of our eyes, as a matter of fact. And I didn't say eyes to hone in on the fact that he does the fucking crazy eye thing. I'm not going to talk about that. I just wanted to point out that may have been a pun. That's all. Um, Shmuel Buckman has been sadly, but surely exhibiting some major signs of early onset DeVito lately. I would reference, and we're not doing a clip show here today, but I would suggest you all in hearing distance of this, go watch the Shmuel talk from this week. I'm going to give you a little homework here. You watch the Shmuel talk this week with when Ava Reiser comes on. I think it's about 2 hours. A little tip, you just put it on the 1.5 and it helps a lot. But when it starts to get heavy, you could slow it down when Ava's trying to explain some things to Shmuel, and he just is like having this very DeVito like reaction where it's just like a fucking brick wall is put up, and Ava even poor panhandler was like doing his best to try to like help Shmuel understand some very simple points, and he was just stuck in this loop, this DeVito-esque, Kafka-esque loop. It was marvelous. You could see the frustrations uh, coming out on the other guests' faces and their words, and it reminded me of peak Ray DeVito. I'm having like flashbacks to myself trying to explain things to Ray, and Ray just fucking not getting it and going into a broken loop of fucking who knows what. So I mean, if you're looking for what you used to get on the old Rock Bottom podcast from Ray before he lost his way, you watch Shmuel Buckman's show and you're kind of getting it. So yeah, go watch Shmuel from this week with Ava, and you fast forward to when Ava Razor comes in, and they start comparing Anthony and Stuttering John, and I mean, I was captivated by the moronic nature of the whole thing. So I implore you to watch that. And then you could go watch from last night. I was trying to get into it, and honestly, it was like watching paint dry. JMO and Shmuel last night was quite the remarkable whole of nothingness. Like I've struggled to think of I'm struggling here to think of a more devoid of enthusiasm, low intelligent, zero take, 3 hour suckfest between Shmuel, like trying to take this all serious, and this guy JMO, who has just literally floated around in a toilet for the past month or two here in the Dabbleverse like a turd, trying to fucking start fights with everybody and then wondering why people come back at him. Similar thing to Shmuel, where he's sitting there talking all this shit about everybody, and then people push back, and then that's like, oh, it's this whole fucking insane thing about how everybody's lying and making lies up and all this bullshit. Reminds me of even the one and only Carl Heberger from Who Are These Podcasts, who has got to be the what is it, the idiot of the week or whatever, the cringe of the week for sure goes to the one and only Carl Heberger of Who Are These Podcasts, from getting completely bent over sideways by Mersh just nonstop this past week. Carl's been taking nuts on his chin after nuts on his chin, and for somebody who's seen that smug fuck talk shit about the one and only Stevie Lou over and over, a guy who I've been nothing but cool to, but he's flip flopped where Stevie was cool for a while and wanted to do the whole Tampa Papers with me, and then all of a sudden he starts getting closer to this Melton guy who's got a problem with me. His fans don't like me, and suddenly, oh, Stevie Lou sucks, and is a all right, Carl, I got you, pal. So it's really good comeuppance, and some just desserts to see fucking Murph, of all people, that fucking limp dick, cross-eyed, alcoholic, junkie, gambling freak, getting over via Carl, and getting over and over and over on Carl is the thing too. Carl having no direction, no comeback, besides just bending over and taking it from Mersh, is really one of the more entertaining storylines for me personally. Watching Carl like a directionless or rudderless ship lost at sea, getting bashed up upon the rocks of Mersh. It's quite delicious, guy Carl, who again made himself up as a critic of other people, letting people criticize him be his demise. It's Shakespearean. It's poetry, and I'm all here for it. Really excited to see and watch Carl continue to plummet, watch his stock continue to drop. His credibility is gone. It's shot. And what really did it for, I think, the general public, which what was the final fucking knockout shot for Carl, clearly has been his siding with Chrissy Mayer and Frank. This will be known as the fucking thing that did him in, was this bizarre and like kind of unexplainable loyalty to Chrissy Mayer, to fucking Chrissy Mayer and her doubting, doting husband Frank, and his defense, Carl's defense of the Content Hotel, the fucking just absolute shithole joke of an event that was, and his refusal to admit it, and his fucking flip flopping later, and attacking of Mersch out of nowhere, just because Mersch was one of these people who rightfully so criticized Carl, and to watch Carl unable to take it, to hear about these messages that Carl is sending Keanu about Kevin Brennan, how Kevin Brennan's such an evil person. Carl, because he called your wife your mom wife. Come on, buddy. You can't take that. We all saw the clip, man. We see you put her on air, man. Like, this is not something that should be surprising to you, doggy. Like, to see you just absolutely fumble this bag is fun, and it was a long time coming, because at the end of the day, Carl was just a flash in the pan. He was able to make a little something out of this, but you look at where he's at now, where he's got these events in Detroit with people having a stand the whole time. It's like watching a rudderless ship sink, and I love it. I love it. Yeah. I was spared by not seeing Ray. Yeah, Dick Fitzwell. That was kind of I guess, really the end of the Ray DeVito and Stevie Lou story, was that night that I went to the stand just to see Ray and hang. Ended up turning into much, much more, just by sharing an anecdote that I had observed. There's my boy Movie Stars, one of the very, very loyal 13 people watching right now. 70 Night Furious, Buttnoid. Stevie, this is without a doubt the best show on YouTube that I could find without actually searching. Thank you. Thank you. That means a very great deal to me. Here, look at that. Johnny Payton, as always, here to remind you all that we throw the L's up over here. If you want to do a big time L because you're feeling real good about yourself, and I've been doing a good job here, then we can do one of these. It's kind of like in the vein of the YMCA, where you put up the big L. It's like like a cheerleading. So there you have it. Yeah, the Clintons of comedy inadvertently, unintentionally assassinated Carl. and I'm here for it. Okay, let's catch up here. Johnny Pay number 8, back again. Edit. I'm getting some serious Sultan Stevie vibes from the shirt, straight out of the Ottoman Empire. Crazy motherfucker named Steve Lou with a gang called Tough Attitude. Got a sawed off. I'm gonna saw it. All right, yeah. Thank you, brother. Yeah, Stevie Lou. We're talking in the third person now. Deal with it. Um, just got back from his first trip on a big plane. Was over in Europe and Asia. If you didn't know that Istanbul is located on the border of Asia and Europe, so I was in both Asia and Europe for the first time 2 weeks ago now. I think, yeah, it was 2 weeks ago now, and I fucking loved it, dude. I really enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, part of my heart is still left out there in Istanbul, and it's been tough readjusting back in America. Um, it was my first time traveling over the Atlantic. You know, I've been vacationing in the North America zone before. Been to like Jamaica, Mexico, nothing insane. But this was a big trip for me, and I went with the wifey as well. And I must say, we had a just incredible time out there. And yeah, I brought back this cheap Chinese knockoff turkey jersey. It is what it is. Uh, but yeah, I couldn't recommend Istanbul more for a fun and pretty cheap, not like dirt cheap, but an affordable vacation. I'd say that. Stevie Lou is not any sort of big baller at the moment, so we were able to have a really good time out there for like 7 days on a budget, and I really did love it and plan on getting back out there as soon as we can. Yeah, but that's been part of why I've been kind of MIA recently, not as active on MLC or on here, is because I was traveling internationally and also in the middle of transitioning between two jobs, starting a new role at the beginning of October. So I've given my current job my 2 weeks notice, and that's been a whole mess of worms. Whatever, it's fine, but we're just trying to transition the role that I've been in for I've been the guy at this place for 6 years in this position, so I kind of sprung it on him that I'm leaving, gave him the 2 weeks notice, and it's more or less I'm like working two jobs right now. I'm getting ready for the new job, working with those new guys, and then also trying to cut ties cleanly with the old place and make sure the replacement is up on what they need to know. So that's been pretty wild. I also filmed a movie, or we filmed 2 days this week. A independent action film. It's actually a sequel. Um, and we filmed probably about 4 days worth of shooting in a day and a half, a day and 3/4. And that was exhausting. I was working basically nonstop, helping a good buddy of mine who's directing his action film. I was the art director on this, and he also came to me at the end of our shoot this week and said, "Hey, Stevie, thank you so much for everything you've done this week and leading up to this. I'm now making you a producer on this film." So it was quite an incredible moment for me personally, something that I'll never forget. This is my first real producer credit on any project. And I know a lot of you out there like to talk shit and just say, hey, it's a bunch of low budget independent nonsense, which, is true to a certain degree. I'm not going to stop you and say that's not the case. It is low budget, but it's not nonsense. It is actual filmmaking, and the art of filmmaking is very much alive. We used all sorts of practical effects and camera tricks. There will be some CGI, but that's expensive, that stuff, and we don't have much of a budget. So we worked round the clock for day and 3/4. We started late the first day because we worked out of a burger. It's like a burger slash bar in my old neighborhood that we were big fans of. It's got a video game vibe. It's got like video games everywhere. It's not an arcade necessarily. It's kind of fucked up little spot with all these older emulators, and it's got this whole aesthetic that we wanted. So the plan is to edit together the scene that we shot this week and put that out as a teaser, as a seed for some potential. We're looking for some investors. So if you're out there and have some money to burn and want to get behind a cool project, hit me up. We could use a few bucks because the next thing we want to shoot is going to be inside a club. So we're going to have to lock down a location, and that might cost a few bucks. But everything else has been done completely low budget, no budget, as in the director of photography is not getting paid. I'm not getting paid. None of the actors are being paid. We didn't pay for the first location. We got, just as a favor, the guy let us use his place. We filmed while they were open, which was kind of nuts. But we got it done. So that was another thing that Stevie Lou's been up to lately, is filming an action movie. And yeah, I honestly have been pretty tired from that. And I mean, I'm honestly looking at my schedule these days is that I may be seriously cutting back from the streaming world. I've got 7 of you right now still locked in, loaded. And it's hey, it's a struggle sometimes to pull them in, but that's all good. We've got the lunatics in the house. But besides that, my schedule is definitely not going to allow me to sit here and stream fucking 20 hours a week like some of these people are doing out there. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're going on one show for 6 hours 3 times a week, and then you're doing other shows for 3 hours on the weekend, you're putting in like 20-25 hours into this streaming world. That's like a part-time job. So if you're someone out there who has a family, who's got a job, and then you're doing like 25 hours of streaming to fucking 40 people, that is not a good use of your time. And I would definitely advise you to rethink your strategy if this is something you think that you want to do more of and get into, and you're already dedicating that amount of time to this. For what, man? Like, what are you doing? I mean, I don't have any kids, but if someone out there has young kids, and like, even if it's like they're asleep and you're doing it at night, there is no way you can. I'm just saying this. I'm not saying it personally towards anybody, but like, there's no way you can be there for your family during waking hours if you're dedicating this much time outside of normal life to streaming. Let's just call it like it is. I mean, I definitely had been guilty of doing stuff like that myself years ago. And I can say without a doubt that my life has improved considerably by streaming less or really picking my spots and choosing where I go and stream and where I put my time. Not saying I don't waste time myself and like I'm perfect. I'm not, but um that's I don't know who needs to hear this, but careful. Movie star fingernails says, "Did you see Stancil bomb on MLC last night?" Honestly, Mario, I almost wasn't even going to bring this up, but here we are. I did get to rewatch. I guess that was like 2 in the morning last night. I did watch a little of the replay this morning, and yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal. The guy who had spent the past 2, 3 years talking all this shit about how everybody sucks, MLC is garbage, bring on some good guests. He gets the opportunity to go on, and he completely flatlines. Um, I mean, Keanu was saying that he was high on Molly or something, and be that as it may, it was like 2:30 in the morning, and I guess he had been partying all night on Molly. Like at some point, you start to sober up when you've been doing Molly. I've done plenty of it, and it doesn't make you useless, especially that late at night. You come around at some point, and you like I don't know. It wasn't a shock, let's just say, to see that guy fucking flatline. Um, he's never really been a entertaining character. So a guy who said all sorts of nasty shit, fucked up stuff about me. A guy that I used to consider a friend, to be honest, too. In person, like we used to hang occasionally and work together on stuff, and the way that he went about just completely being like a snake and all that, I'll fucking just leave that as it is. Istanbul is in Europe and Asia. It's like how Ray is a locale and a homeless guy. I mean, Johnny Payton, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Doodle, was that for your new job or just for fun? Doodle, I wish I was traveling to Istanbul for business. But to be honest, from what I noticed, I mean, it's not like it's impossible, but in Turkey, it seems like there's not a lot of American Turkish trade either way, to be honest. Turkey's like too far from America, closer to Europe and Russia, like the more industrial European countries. So it doesn't seem like there's a lot of jobs for Americans in Turkey or business for Americans in Turkey, which is what it is. Doesn't mean that you can't go tour, and be a tourist there. Um, that's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. My wife is of Turkish descent, so we were able to enjoy that. That was huge. I will say, having someone who speaks the language while we were there provided, I'm sure, a much different and more enjoyable experience. But even if you don't speak um, Turkish, English is spoken widely, and everyone was really friendly too, which was really cool. Also, cats everywhere, cats and dogs, like friendly, wild cats and dogs just littered about everywhere. That was quite a treat. I will promise you this much. I'll do this at least for Doodle. At the very least, I'll do it for Doodle. I have a bunch of pictures and some videos. I've been planning on putting a little, um, what do they call that shit? Little slideshow together. I'll do a little slideshow. I took way too many pictures and some vid. So I would love to put that together and share that with you. Um, I think that would be fun. Shout out, they might be giants. a a phenomenal band. Really great late 90s, early 2000s band that I enjoy, but they also have the wonderful song that we all know and love about Istanbul, not Constantinople. Actually, okay, it's really funny, Doodle. We went and saw the Ia Sofia, which is the top dog mosque in Istanbul. Really was a marvelous sight to behold, but we ended up skipping a line because we found a tour guide who had the hookup there, and he just was looking for two people to join his current group, which happened to be two Dutch guys. So we get to skip the line, and the guy introduced us to the Dutch guys, and they're like, "Oh, where are you from? Oh, New York. Where are you from? Holland." And I tried to slide in. Oh, you know that even old New York was once New Amsterdam? I tried to slide it in naturally, and I like just couldn't make it happen. I like almost tried too hard a couple times, and it wouldn't have even made any sense. It would have only made sense in the beginning when we first like were doing pleasantries, but mm, yeah, Zatar, the spice, the food in Istanbul was out of this world. It sucks that I have a IBD, a stomach condition that gets triggered by stress and stuff. So when we flew, I was dealing with the jet lag when we first landed, and I was having some stomach problems, which luckily I was able to find some weed cock in Istanbul. It was very expensive, but it was crazy. I was really in a lot of pain and had no appetite in Istanbul the first day or two, which is like going to Jamaica and trying to enjoy the beach when you're an albino. That was my little thing that I had, a little metaphor. But yeah, fortunately, I was able to score some decent weed cock out in Istanbul, and got myself like a little cherry wood tobacco pipe, and was like smoking little tiny hits, and was able to enjoy the food much more once I got myself right. Um, but yeah, best paprika, best food. The food out there was just so much better than what we get in America. Like even just the produce, that was one of the first things. Because when I'm like not feeling good, one thing I can do is just eat fruits and vegetables, try to keep it real basic, and healthy. And I went to like a fruit stand and picked up some tomatoes, carrots, strawberries, bananas, some berries, grapes. We got a bunch of olives too, and like the flavor and the taste of those items compared to what we get in America, there is just it's 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 like it's like the farmers market stuff. It's like their regular produce is like our farmers market level stuff. It's that good organic shit. Terrible Tony. Congrats on the producer gig. Yeah, man. I'm excited, and honestly, it's like opening up my drive to help uh push this film again. Really cool flick that we're doing um towards the finish line, and stick around and get it done. I think you and Tyler Maine could play brothers in a flick. I'm gonna have to write that down and look that person up. Hmm. Do you think Final Boss could fill your void on the stream game? Now, if we could see what Dr. Chow is doing here, seems like he's got another character lined up in the queue that he is going to push forward. He had done this with Shmuel. He'd done this with JMO, and now it looks like Final Boss is going to be the new rallying call of Dr. Chow. And Dr. Chow, I got to give you credit, man. You've been putting in a lot of hard work to do what you got to do to get these guys some recognition, these absolute nobodies. Um, and I hate to say it, this is something that I used to do and I took pride of. Like I remember when I was at the Dr. Chow level of my of evolution. Um, it is a lower level. No offense, Chow, but it is a lower level when you think like, okay, I've made my mark on the streaming world. Now, my next way of doing something here is I'm going to push other people up. Like I did that with Quadfather. 100%. BYB would not be what it is today without my involvement. Um, I know for a fact that Quad is too proud of a boy to admit that, but anyone who was around at the beginning of BYB when it was like 9 people, 10 people like this here, 12 people watching, it was garbage, absolute trash. He had a completely different format even. He used to watch these fucking weird videos that eventually got his channel in trouble. And I had to like talk to him and say, "Hey man, you shouldn't be doing that. This is definitely not the way to go. You're just basically ripping off a bunch of other trashy shows that aren't good." So I did teach that guy a lot. Whenever I was on any of the appearances on other shows like Steel Toe, MLC, the big shows, I would mention BYB. I got a lot of the recognition that BYB finally garnered was from me because of my promotion, and then also the biggest moment in BYB's entire existence was them finally getting Stuttering John on the show, and that was directly because of me, because I was working with John at the time, and I personally asked him to come on BYB as a repayment for my time on Stuttering John's show. So it is kind of crazy. I remember when I used to do stuff like that. You try to help these low level nobodies like Quad get some sort of traction. And, you could say, hey, that's how good I am. Is that not only did I get it over, now I'm putting other people over. Um, and that's what we're all here for. And like even this Friday with Mersh on MLC, it's like, all right, man, if Mersh needs a W so bad that he's gonna fucking go on MLC when I'm not there and try to dunk on Mr. Kill Everything and Karmic. If that's what it takes to get a win for Mersh and he needs that win that bad, like, and that's the way he's gonna go about it. Bravo, Mersh. You got one, buddy. Mersh is such a fucking loser that I'm happy that he's found the Dabbleverse and it's given him new life and it's given him a few extra bucks in his clearly low bank account. So, good on you, Mersh. I know you don't get to put a lot of feathers in your cap these days, and a win's a win. So I'm glad to see him having a good time on MLC. Usually my spot on Friday, I was too busy this Friday to jump on. As a matter of fact, Kevin had asked me if I wanted to come on Friday, the night that Mersh jumped on, but I was already sleeping. That was a late start. So Zeke is Zeke's got me in hot water with Disney. Isn't the final boss Chow's nemesis? See, I don't even know. Pardon me. Oh boy, here we go. Doodle. How about the coffee game out there? Turkish coffee is delicious. You could have done some research for our coffee weed collaboration and wrote the trip off as a business expense. Doodle, let's just say a couple things. A, you are very much correct. The coffee game out there is insane. B, I should be writing off this trip as a business expense for my new coffee venture. Stevie Lou's Cockadoodle Doo cold brew with THC. And finally, I will say that Turkish coffee beans have already been introduced into the recipe. So I love the synchronicity of thought that's happening and occurring because you are on my board of directors as someone who helped name the product. Um, I will say this Turkish coffee itself. So that's the secret here is that I'm using the beans that they use in Turkish coffee because just, you know, Turkish coffee is just ground coffee beans, finely ground, added with sugar and boiling water. That's it. It's kind of crazy. It's unfiltered, um, kind of barbaric, to be honest. A little too much, also, if you ask me. So I kind of avoid the Turkish coffee. It's too harsh, too acidic on my stomach, my poor white boy stomach. So I will have a Turkish coffee occasionally, but not regularly. But what I did have, which is the real secret, not a secret, but as much as the Turkish coffee is the big thing, the Turkish tea was fucking kick ass. And I'm not a tea guy. Tea drinking is not a big American thing, especially American men. American women may be a different story, but American men are not, known to be tea drinkers. Turkish tea kind of almost comes with a meal, and I was really, really digging the Turkish tea. It's got such a great fragrance and smell to it. As a matter of fact, like just walking through the streets of Istanbul, you'll smell this like very fragrant atmosphere. A lot of times it's tea being brewed because they'll brew big pots of it at once, big pots. So I would really suggest if you go out to Istanbul, like everything is al fresco during the summer when we're out there. We were out there, just 2 weeks ago. Um, People smoking cigarettes nonstop. That's one thing. Cigarette culture is insane out there. We bought a couple packs, and I would have a few myself. Um, the cigarettes seem a little more slim. Even the regular cigarettes seem slim. They sell slim cigarettes are more of a style out there, and the tobacco tasted a lot better too. You find that sometimes in different countries, the different brands that we have in America taste slightly different, sometimes better, sometimes worse. And I would say that the cigarettes out in Turkey were better. Do you need a caller, Stevie? Stevie, you're seething. Be happy for quad success. See, but that's the thing, Radio Shaman. He's not successful. That's not success. Being someone who's a shut in, who basically your entire life is streaming to the internet or being on Discord with a bunch of fucking losers trying to plot and all that shit. If that's your life, like kind of like yours, that's sad, dude. That's why most people like you run to drugs for an escape. It's because that shit is like sad to be that fucking wound up in streaming. Like again, to go back to that point earlier, you can't stream as much as a guy like Quadfather does and also have a good, healthy personal life. You stream that much because you don't have a healthy personal life. You're not in touch with your loved ones, friends. You don't have that sort of stuff. Like I thank the Lord. I literally get down on my knees, throw my L's up to the big one that I don't have to run to this as much and make this such a big part of my personality and my life. Where I am now is, like I said, so much fucking better when I thought that was the way to jump on MLC every once in a while, get paid, come on here and do my own thing. What? Once every couple of weeks now? I'll do it for 12 people all day. I got Doodle here. As long as fucking Doodle is here, I'll be doing it. And that's all that matters at the end of it. Your opinion on the matter doesn't matter. I hate to tell you this, but anybody else out there besides me in this situation, your opinion doesn't matter. So, cheers. But it's good to see you, Comedy Shaman. I'm glad to see you are, holy shit, spamming my chat. This guy. I mean, I guess I'll give this guy, since he's spamming Stevie, coming from a no-name streamer. It's a bad look when you see that success. Be happy for other men. No-name streamer, doggy. I've been doing it for almost 10 years now at this point. You know, everybody likes to think that I'm a no-name, blah blah blah, but I hate to say it, doggy. I've like made the name. The name has been made. So I know you don't want it to have been the case that I've made my name, because I know you tried to take a shot at being successful, having eyeballs, being brought on shows, and you had a minute with Jesse PS, I think, but you failed. You're the drugged out loser that I'm kind of referencing here when I talked about people who need to go to drugs to cope with their reality. And coming from me, man, that's fucking, that should be sharp, you know. So honestly, at this point, you can keep spamming all your fucking little nonsense, your little, like, you're telling me to stop seething, and I've been just calmly expressing my opinion here this whole time, whereas you're fucking going nuts in my chat. So sometimes you got to understand that you're talking to the man in the mirror and you're asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been any different if you look at yourself. Okay, I forget. Well, he likes tea. That's great. Doodle, I'll DM you later because this is insane, Doodle. The fact that you know that is amazing, because that is not only true, there is a connection for me to this. And I really think Doodle might have like a bug in my apartment because she knows too much without being told. Oh, shit. Excuse me. To lose power. Let's see if this doesn't shut me down. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is a good idea. This is a good idea for him. they'll get you set straight, dude. You seem like you're lost, Shaman. Seem like you've been led astray off the path. And honestly, if you get with Chow and you get with Mir, they'll get you straight, bro. They'll set you up good. I would tune in on a Comedy Shaman episode of Mere Musk. And the fact that I just said that makes me want to go take a shower. But I 100% give my blessing to this message here. Do hit him up. See what we can do. Look at that. See? I'm glad. Okay. Honestly, I get it. There was like 10 people here the whole time. But if anything, if this episode of mine brings together Dr. Chow, Comedy Shaman, and Little Mir, and they can do an episode together, it goes back to my point before, where it's like, hey, like I feel like I'm making this world a better place just by existing in it, by allowing these situations to occur. And like you got to just throw your L up at least for that. Come on. Even the people out here who are not big L throwers, at the very least, you can hear me on that point and just even reluctantly, you can reluctantly throw the L up. Be like, do me a solid. Exactly. Thank you. You guys are, look, see, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Johnny Carson and Doodle. If I got the holy trinity of L's, we got Mario, Johnny, and Doodle, I feel like I've done something. I feel like I've accomplished something here. I hope you people have had an absolutely wonderful time here with the Lewmeister. We got it in. Football starting in a half hour. Best of luck to you and your fantasy football teams. I'm 0-2 right now, and I got to get my ass out of the gutter. I feel like I got a good chance this week. But this ain't a sports show. We don't do that. Oh, look at that. See, I love you too, buddy. Listen, I love you too. Radio Comedy Shaman. I miss you, buddy. I miss you. So I was glad to see Shaman show up. I know I gave him maybe a little hard time here, but Shaman, please hit up Dr. Chow. His DMs are open. Boy, do I know. Boy, do I know. So yes, everybody throw an L in the chat. And Johnny Carson seems to show up as soon as I'm ending the show. Johnny, go back and watch. But yeah, watch MLC. Kevin Brennan is the greatest. Oh, I forgot to say, check out the return of Carlos Danger. The return of Carlos Danger was things are so fucking crazy in this fucking universe these days that something like the return of Carlos Danger seemed to go underneath the fly under the radar. So do go check out NJ Ranger and Flimsy Greenberg with Carlos Danger earlier this week. And that's about it. Throw up the L. Let's find something fun to listen to on the way out. I got something for you. I got something for that ass.
Stevie Lou, whatever should we do to infringe on Kiki's joy? Makes him a nasty, nasty boy. Stevie Lou, whatever should we do? He may want to ice your face when his brain's in outer space. Stevie Lou, whatever should we do? Think he's down with Musk and Trump, and he'll fly to Mars to do a bump. Stevie Lou, whatever should we do? Denizen of Mars and Earth, this guy is so devoid of mirth. Stevie Lou, Whatever should we do? Brags what's in his pants like it's a medieval answer, but upon greater inspection, it's only J.D. Vance. Stevie Lou, Stevie Lou. Whatever should we do? Be it bird or be it a plane? From all the data gathered, he got Neanderthal brain.